So you've put together a pretty good scholarship application. But here's the thing. Good doesn't usually win. In a stack of hundreds of applications, good is just forgettable. So how do you make your application genuinely great? You know, the kind that a judge reads and just can't stop thinking about. Well, today we're going to crack the code on what judges are really looking for, so you can turn your application from just okay into an absolute winner. Okay, let's just rip the Band-Aid off right away with a hard truth. This number, this is how long you have to make a first impression. That's it, 15 to 30 seconds. That is the entire window a judge gives your application on the very first pass. In that tiny moment, your only goal is to survive the cut. Because if you don't, well, nothing else you wrote even matters. Okay, so you made it past that first 30-second scan. Awesome. Congratulations, you've cleared the first, and honestly, the biggest hurdle. But now what? You're now in a much smaller, much tougher pool of applicants, and this is where the real competition begins. And where good enough is definitely not going to cut it. To get you through this next gauntlet, we've built a roadmap. First, we're going to dive into what we're calling the real competition, to see what that judge's deep dive really looks like. Then we'll focus on storytelling, taking your application from vague to vivid. After that, we'll master the details because polish equals professionalism. Then we'll cover making a crucial connection with the mission before we pull it all together into your winning action plan. All right, welcome to the deep dive. The whole pace changes here. Judges are slowing down, they're reading every single word. They are no longer just scanning for keywords or red flags. Now they're actively hunting for the stories that resonate, the applications that actually stand out from the massive pile that, let's be honest, they'll probably have forgotten by lunchtime. So what is actually going through a judge's mind at this stage? Well, they're basically asking themselves these questions. Number one, did this person actually answer the prompt? It's amazing how many don't. Then, can I literally visualize their experience? Can I picture this? And this is a big one. Do I see a clear, compelling link between their past, their future goals, and our specific scholarship? They want the whole picture, not just a bunch of disconnected facts. And that brings us to what is maybe the biggest hurdle for most really good applicants: telling your story. It's all about transforming the dry facts about you into a genuine connection with the reader. So let's look at how to go from simple, forgettable statements to vivid narratives that a judge just can't ignore. Okay, mistake number one, and it's a huge one, treating your application like a resume. You just list things. It tells the judge what you've done, the awards you've won, the grades you got, the jobs you've held, but it tells them absolutely nothing about who you are or why any of it matters. It's just information without any impact. Just look at the difference here. It is night and day. The okay statement on the left is a list of facts. It's fine. It's competent. But the great statement on the right, it paints a picture. It doesn't just tell us the applicant is a hardworking parent. It shows us. We can see the values, the motivation, the why behind all those facts. Now that is the power of storytelling. All right, mistake number two, being super vague about your goals. Statements like, I want to help people, sound nice, of course, but to a judge who's read that 100 times, it signals a lack of deep thought or a clear plan. It's a noble idea, for sure, but it's not a compelling investment for them to make. And this is where specificity becomes your superpower. Instead of a generic, I want a better life, a great applicant gets specific. I'm pursuing my nursing degree at Lower Columbia College to work in rural healthcare. By connecting a personal story, like seeing a parent struggle to find care, to a concrete career goal, you show maturity and genuine commitment. Your personal story is what makes your professional goal believable. Now listen, you could have the most compelling, heart-wrenching story in the world, but if it's not presented professionally, it can all just fall apart. And this brings us to polish, because when a judge has two equally amazing candidates in front of them, it's the small details that end up making all the difference. And don't just take my word for it. This quote comes directly from a scholarship committee member. Now, it might sound a little harsh, but try to put yourself in their shoes. They are literally investing in your future. So carelessness in your application kind of suggests you might be careless with their investment. Polishing your work shows you respect their time, and it shows you respect their mission. So how do you get this level of polish? Well, here are 3 really powerful techniques. First, use the 24-hour rule. Step away from your writing for a full day. This lets you come back with fresh eyes, and you'll spot errors you were blind to before. Second, read it out loud. Your ear will catch awkward phrasing that your eyes just skim right over. And finally, here's a brilliant trick.
Read it backward, one sentence at a time, from the end to the beginning. This forces your brain to focus on each sentence individually, making typos just jump right out at you.
Okay, we're at the final crucial piece of the puzzle, connecting your story to the organization itself. This is how you prove you're not just carpet bombing applications everywhere. This is how you show them exactly why their specific scholarship is the perfect fit for you and you for them. Believe me, judges can spot a generic, copy-pasted application from a mile away. These are the huge red flags they're looking for. Getting the organization's name wrong, that's an immediate disqualifier. Submitting an essay that could apply to any scholarship out there is just as bad. It just screams that you haven't done your research and you haven't made that vital connection. So how do you do it right? It's simple, really. You weave their mission directly into your narrative. For example, instead of just saying, "You need help," you could write something like this. As a single mom returning to school at 32, I represent exactly the kind of student that the Woman of Wonder Scholarship was created to support. You see that? It shows you get it. It's not just about getting money, it's about joining their mission. Phew, we have covered a lot of ground, right? So now, let's boil it all down into a powerful, simple action plan that you can use to transform your application from okay to completely unforgettable. Here it is, your 4-step action plan. Step 1, audit your draft. Read it like you're the judge and be tough. Look for reasons to say no. Step 2, add details. Go on a mission. Hunt for every general statement and replace it with a specific, concrete example that shows instead of just tells. Step 3, use that 24-hour rule we talked about to make sure it's perfectly polished. And finally, step 4, and this is so important, get outside feedback. Ask someone to read it and then ask them to tell you what they learned about you. If all they can do is repeat back facts, your story isn't strong enough yet. You know, at the end of the day, a scholarship application isn't just a form. It's a stage. It's your one chance to tell your unique story, a story of your grit, your passion, and your potential. Your story is absolutely worth telling. The only question left is, how will you make them listen?